Hello and welcome back to this course. We are still on the control structure series in our Python programming tutorial. So in our previous video, we were able to write a basic if and else block. So in this video, we are going to be continuing with our conditional statements, and that is if statements. Now, here on our screen, we have the code from our previous video, and in this video, we are going to be practicing how to add multiple statements to an if and else block. And we're also going to be working with the elif block. So when you're working with more than two conditions, you're going to be needing an elif block. So without further ado, let us get started. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to liken the variable that I'm going to create now to a database where I have a list of items, maybe a list of books that I have in my store. So I am going to create a list here and I call it list of books. And I'm going to set a list of maybe Shakespeare, Christian authors, diet guides. So, and I'm going to add programming books. So now I have a list of 5 books here. So let's liken this to a storage that is linked to our program. So now I'm going to set another list and liken it to the prices of those lists. So I'm going to create another list now and I'm going to call it book prices. And I'm going to set it to, well, a list of integers. So I'm going to pass in, the first one is going to be 20, maybe in dollars, and the other one is going to be maybe $15 and maybe $10 and $12, and then we have another one for $5, right? And now the next thing I'm going to do now, from what we did previously in creating our dictionaries, I can decide to zip these two together and form a dictionary. So I'm going to call it book and prices. I'm going to set it to, so I'm going to use a dict constructor to create this dictionary, and I'm going to pass in, so I am going to pass in zip that we used in our previous video, and I'm going to pass in the first list, and the first list is list of books, and I'm going to also pass in the book prices. So for the meantime, I'm going to comment this out so that we can print this books and prices and see that we have a dictionary there. So we save and run. Now we have a dictionary of the respective books and their prices. Okay, so now I'm going to comment this out and I'll start writing my conditionals. So assuming you are on an e-commerce website like this, and you want to first of all check if there is Shakespeare, right? And if there is Shakespeare, you will want the program to tell you that there is Shakespeare and then the price of the Shakespeare. Okay, so now we are going to demonstrate how to use all the blocks of ifs, elifs, and nested if in this little project. Okay, so now I'm going to set another variable here and I'm going to call it search, and I'm going to set it to an input field, and I'm going to ask a question: what book are you searching for? So again, I'll write my colon, and then I'm going to give a little space, so there'll be small space between what you're typing in and the end of this question. Okay, so I'm going to put this search input below the password input so that the program will ask for your password first, and then you will now enter the input. So now I'm going to make a little changes to this if block. So now what I'm going to do first is that I'll check whether the password matches. So, and if the password matches, I'm going to print you have successfully logged in. And then I'm going to write another if on the same level with this one, right? So I'm going to write another if statement. So I'm going to write if search in, remember our membership operator in, right? So I'm going to say if search in list of books, right? I'm going to put colon, and then I'm going to tell Python what to do. So if the search, if the item that the person entered is in the list of book, so I'm going to write a print statement. So I'm going to tell Python to print for me in a formatted string that the book you search for, so I'm going to enter that search variable here, is available. Okay. And then I will ask a question. Do you want to buy search? So it's going to repeat this word. So if you ask for Shakespeare, it will tell you that Shakespeare is available. Do you want to buy Shakespeare? And then it will accept another data from you. So I'm going to set a response variable here to an input field. And I'm going to expect a yes or no answer. So in here, I'm going to type in yes or just Y for short and no. So I'm going to put colon again, and I'm going to give a little space. So now I'm going to nest this if. So inside this if, I'm going to write another if. So if response is equals Y, then I'll write colon. I will print in a formatted string. Now I'm going to access this dictionary here so that whatever thing that the user has entered as the search here, right, we will now return that particular search and we will relate it to this dictionary, right? So I'm going to print the price of search. So I'll enter search is, so I'm going to pass in this dictionary, right? So book and prices dot get search. So it will not get us the price of that book through this dictionary that we created. Okay. Now, for now, we are going to run this code. And after that, we'll now write what will happen if the book was not found. Okay. I'm going to comment this print statement out because I wouldn't want it to execute right now. So I'm going to save this and run it. So now I'm going to enter the correct password 1234. And what book are you searching for? So I'm going to enter Shakespeare. And then, so we have been successfully logged in and we are now told that Shakespeare is available. Okay, so this you have been successfully logged in, right, is printing after the book search because we checked the condition after the book search. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to move this if block to this place so that the if block will run before the book search, right? So now this will give us a better result. So now I'm going to exit this program by pressing Ctrl C, right? So, and I'm going to clear the terminal. So now I'm going to run again. So enter your password 12345. Sorry, 1234, and I'm going to, it's going to ask me what book are you searching for. So right now I'm going to add a dollar sign here so that the price will be formatted very well for me. So I'm going to just, well, I'm going to search for Shakespeare again. So now, well, probably there is a spelling error. Yeah. So it's telling me my login was not successful because that is the only S block here. So I'm going to run that again. Now we see password 1234 and you have been successfully logged in. What book are you looking for? Right? And the book I'm looking for is Shakespeare. So I'll just copy there's one of them so that I will not misspell the books. So I'm going to paste it here, diet guide, and it says diet guide is available. Do you want to buy diet guides? So yes, I'm going to enter yes. So we have a small letter yes here. So it says the price of diet guides is $10 and it exits the program, right? So this is a simple illustration of this if and else statement. So what if this the search does not exist? So I'm going to add an elif block. So the elif block is saying that if search, that is whatever the user entered here, it does not exist. So I'm going to say elif search not in list of books. So I'll enter my colon again. What do I want to do? I'll write another print statement that will tell the user that the search is not available. So I'm going to write it and I'll pass in the search again. Search is not available. So, and then I'll ask the question, do you want to get a list of all the available books and prices? So now I would prefer to have this in the input field, right? So I would want to have this question in an input field. So I'm going to copy all of this question and I'm going to move it to another input field. So I will set it to response again. Okay, so I'm going to set it to input and I'm going to paste that question I copied from the other line there, and I'm going to enter yes or no, right? So I will now come and check in this elif block. I'm going to enter another if statement again. So I'm going to say if response is equals yes. So I'm going to enter the string y, and in this block I'll now print this dictionary here. So I'll just copy this print statement and I'll move it here. Now let's run this program from the beginning to the end. So now we enter our password 1234. So what book are you looking for? So I'm going to say Christian authors. So I hope I spelled that correctly, because if I did not, it will tell me that Christian authors is not available. So you see, Christian authors is not available because I misspelled. I didn't enter the exact thing I entered here. So I'm going to copy it directly, and I'm going to, for this place, I'm going to enter no so that it will exit the program. So now I'm going to run again. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have successfully logged in. What book are you looking for? So I'm going to paste that, and well, Christian author is available. Do you want to buy Christian authors? Yes. And the price of Christian author is that. So let's run it again with a book that is not available. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So log in. And what book are you looking for? I'll just write no book. So now no book is not available. Do you want to get a list of all our available books and prices? So I'll enter yes. And this time around, it gives us all the books that we have and their prices. So this is a simple way that we have been able to use our if and else statements. So we have if statement, nested if, elif, and then we have the else statement. So you see, all of this will run. All of this if and ifs and elif will run. So if all the conditions are not met, so this else block will now run. So, and that is if elif block was not successful. So what I'm going to do now is that I want to structure this code in a way that when you did not when you did not enter the correct password, the program will exit. So I'm going to move this print statement, right? And I'm going to remove this else block here for the meantime. So what I'm going to do is that instead of this if password is that, so I'm going to say is not, if insert is not equals password, right? So I'm going to reverse the statement. So I'm going to exit the program. So I'm going to exit the program. So what this does is that the program will break from here. So then after, if this statement was not, that is if this password was not misentered, I will now come here and print again your login was. So I'm going to write another print statement here that will say your login was successful. So now I'm going to run this code again from the very beginning. So I'll enter a wrong password 5, and this exits the program right from here, right? So but if I now have a correct password, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I will now say your login was successful. what book are you looking for. So we have been able to build a mini program, and we have been able to search for books, and if the book is available, we get the price, and if the book is not available, we now get the list of the available books. So thank you so much for watching this video to this point. And in the next video, we are going to be looking at loops. We're going to be looking at for loops, and then subsequently while loops and um nested loops. So see you in the next video.